Hello, and welcome to episode 220 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast. I'm Christine.
And I'm Sam.
Hey, here's what's happening in today's show. In this week's Why Files, we'll look at the dangers of consuming Kratom and where you might find it.
In our Noteworthy segment, the Center for the Environment and Welfare has released a documentary series where they claim to expose several animal advocacy organizations as anti-farming and a threat to our food systems.
And in our main topic, we dig into what's behind the dismantling of the U.S. Forest Service. But before we get into all of that, what have we been up to?
Not much.
You always say that.
Well, no, seriously. I mean, it's I don't know. I don't want to give people the idea that we're doing anything exciting when we're really not.
I mean, we're living our lives.
Well, sure,
Hey,
but
we had something really kind of exciting happen this week. Thursday night, I'm sitting there. I have one earbud in, and I'm watching this stream on YouTube.
which she watches every Thursday night.
Yeah, and Sam was in the other room, and all of a sudden, the cats started acting really weird.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's going on? And one of them was like in our front, we have like a bay window in the front of our house. And one of them was like sitting on the windowsill, and they all started kind of running around like weirdos. And I'm like, did they knock something over? Because I heard a noise. I couldn't, identify the noise.
Yeah. I also heard a significant noise, but I couldn't identify it. I couldn't suss out what it was.
I couldn't either. And I'm looking around. I don't see anything knocked over.
Right.
They're all just acting very suspicious.
Yes.
And I didn't think any more of it. I'm like, okay, you people are nuts. The next morning, we get a phone call from our next door neighbor. Hey, have you looked out your front window? And I'm like, no, why? We look out the front window. This giant tree from across the street fell towards our house, blocking the road completely.
Yep.
This is a huge tree, mind you.
Yeah.
And came within inches of crushing our cars.
I don't know that I'd go that far.
It was inches. I'm telling you, it was inches. I was out there. It was maybe 6 or 7 inches away from my car.
Okay.
I don't know why Sam's downplaying it.
Well, no, I'm not downplaying it. It was a very large tree. I just don't think if the part of the tree that was close to your car had hit your car would not have been crushed.
It would have been significantly dented.
That's a little different from crushed. Crushed implies that, like King Kong has just stepped on the thing, and
This
so
was a huge tree. If one of the branches
it was
had
a
hit my
very
car.
large tree, but the parts of the tree that were closest to your car were not that large. It's not like the trunk of the tree would have hit your car.
All right. So Sam has made this story far less exciting.
I am just trying to keep the story truthful.
All right. There's a little hyperbole involved. But anyway, we were lucky. It didn't hit anything. It didn't cause any damage.
Oh, no, we're very fortunate that
Yeah.
it did not hit either of our cars,
Yeah.
that it was not close enough to hit our house. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. We were completely fortunate. I'm just trying to, dispel drama that didn't exist.
Okay, fine. Dispel the drama. I was just trying to make it a little more exciting. Anyway, we were lucky it didn't cause any damage.
Yes.
And nobody was hurt.
Nope.
And everybody in the neighborhood was like, yeah, I thought I heard something too.
Yep.
And like nobody knew, including the people whose tree it belonged to.
Yes.
They also said they heard a strange sound.
But had no idea what it was.
It was like 10:30 at night, and it was dark. And
Yeah.
our street is very dark. There's no street lights or anything. And so I looked out at 10:30 when I heard the funny noise and the cats were all acting weird. And I'm like, I don't see anything.
Right.
Maybe there was an animal in the yard or something. Yeah. Anyway, that was pretty exciting.
It was.
Yeah.
And I was very impressed. I mean, we fortunately live in a little neighborhood where there are some kind of, like little back streets. And so it's not like the tree kept me from going to work on Friday morning. Like
No.
I had a means of egress.
Yes. That was good.
Yes.
I just had to move some kind of large branches out of the driveway.
Yes, which I thank you for. That was
Yeah.
very nice. But by the time I was coming home that afternoon, the tree had been completely cleared away. And if you didn't, notice the roots that are still kind of sticking up in our neighbor's yard, like you wouldn't have known anything happened at all.
I know. It was pretty amazing.
It was impressive.
I watched them do the cleanup, and it was just 2 guys, a big truck with this like claw thing. And the one guy had a chainsaw, and he was cutting the tree up into very large chunks.
Yeah.
And then the big claw would pick it up and put it in the back of this giant truck.
Cool.
And they were done in like 40 minutes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That amazes me.
Cleaned up, raked up, everything in like 40 minutes. Yeah. So, I mean, it's sad because that tree was kind of beautiful, but I had been eyeing that tree for a little while going, that tree looks like it's leaning, further and further over the road. Well, apparently it was.
Apparently. Yeah.
So that was that. Yesterday I wouldn't say we celebrated Easter. We got together with my family on Easter or Ostara. Mm-hmm. And we had like a brunch, a little vegan brunch. It was really good. That was good. My nephew made pancakes. He made
potato pancakes.
He was originally going to make latkes, but I think he decided they were too much work, so he made potato pancakes instead, and they were delicious.
They were crispy on the outside, fluffy on the inside.
They were really fluffy on the inside. And my sister made a just egg casserole with some vegan sausage, and then I made a giant kale and quinoa salad with lots of veg.
I love your kale and quinoa salad. Yeah, it's so good.
It's delicious. If you'd like the recipe, it's up on our Patreon.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, so that's what we did yesterday. Mm-hmm. Sam has today off, kind of. Because of they give the kids a travel day after the Easter holiday. So
they do.
They can get back and forth from home to campus. And so I think that is just about all we've been up to.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah.
Just that I do have to go to work tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we're going into another tech week. So yeah. So I do have to go to work tonight.
It never ends.
It's true. It doesn't. It really does not.
Okay. Well, I guess we're done boring you with what's going on in our lives.
Because we really are quite dull.
That's what keeps people listening, the fact that we are quite dull.
Hey, we are.
Well, thanks for hanging in there. Let's jump into the episode here. Let's jump into this week's Y-Files. So this week in the Y-Files, we're talking about Kratom. I don't know if you're familiar with Kratom, but there's been several articles talking about the terrible side effects of Kratom. And apparently that Kratom is found in several drinks that kind of portray themselves as energy drinks. You can also get Kratom in like pill form, and people use it for like energy and focus.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because I just did a quick search on what is Kratom because I'm not really familiar with it.
It's a plant source.
It is. Yeah. It says that it's an over-the-counter herbal drug extracted from the leaves of a tree native to Southeast Asia for relief of pain, anxiety, and even withdrawal symptoms from opioids. So apparently it is sometimes used as a substitute for opioids for those who might be trying to come off of opioid use.
Yes, and I have heard that. I have heard that. But what seems to be happening is people are buying these kind of energy, kind of health drinks that contain massive amounts of Kratom, and they're becoming addicted to it.
Interesting.
Yeah, this is an article from USA Today. And the headline in the article is, she thought it was just another energy drink. It took half of her body weight and sent her to rehab.
Wow.
Yeah. Kim Maloney said she needed a pick-me-up. She'd been struggling with energy in the morning when somebody she trusted recommended a Feel Free tonic. That's a brand name, Feel Free, that contained Kratom. She bought it from a local CBD store in 2021. The little blue bottle, it's like when you see like at a convenience store, they have those little shots.
The little 5-hour energy guys. Yeah.
That's what this is. The little blue bottle, she says, looked similar to a 5-hour energy, and she thought it was harmless. But for her, it wasn't. The 49-year-old Ohio mother of two says nobody knew at that time what it was. You figure all plant-based, all natural. I didn't know too much about Kratom. I didn't know that it was addictive. Maloney said she soon fell into debilitating Kratom addiction, one that eventually had her drinking upward of 10 Kratom drinks a day. Her addiction, she said, took nearly everything from her. Her car, her house, her 27-year marriage, nearly half of her body weight. At one point, she said she weighed 70 pounds.
That's insane.
Yeah. Maloney believes her addiction would have taken her life too had she not gone to rehab in 2024. My eyes were rolling into the back of my head. I couldn't walk straight. I didn't leave my couch for months. I had pancreatitis. I had shingles. I was sick. I mean, I was really sick. So my daughter, who lives in LA, said, "You know what, Mom? I'm done. If you can't get off this stuff, I'm done." Maloney said my blood pressure was like 58/49. I was dying.
Yes, it certainly sounds that way.
Yeah. Well, USA Today spoke with more than 20 people who say they become severely addicted to Kratom, a plant ingredient found in products sold at gas stations, liquor stores, and smoke shops across the country by various companies. Many of the people we spoke with had no history of substance abuse before ingesting Kratom. Some were health and fitness enthusiasts who thought Kratom was just like any other wellness supplement. Others thought it was a healthy alternative to alcohol. A few mistook it for a run-of-the-mill caffeine drink like coffee or tea. But Kratom has addictive potential, medical experts say, and getting hooked on it often carries devastating consequences. A woman in California says she maxed out at least 2 credit cards to fuel her addiction, and now she doesn't know what the future holds for herself and her 9-year-old son. A father says his addiction drove him $50,000 into debt and tanked his credit score into the 500s. Crushing withdrawals, he said, have made it extraordinarily difficult to quit. Still, he's trying to rebuild a life for himself and his child. Despite their dangers, Kratom products remain legal in most states, including California. Many have colorful packaging and are sold in stores that offer up bubblegum and potato chips. But with the action by the Food and Drug Administration and Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the tide on Kratom may finally be turning. How is Kratom portrayed in the world? It's organic. It's healthy. It's health and wellness. It's like chia. It's like oatmeal. It's like stuff you put in Starbucks, almond milk, or whatnot, says Dr. Timothy Fong, a UCLA addiction psychiatrist, who says that he has seen a spike in calls from people seeking treatment for Kratom addiction in recent years. It comes from a little bit of that world, not from the illicit drug underground cartel world that's seen as much more seedy. The FDA is cracking down on 7-OH, a byproduct of Kratom. Is it enough?
At a news conference on July 29th, the FDA announced its intention to crack down on products containing 7-hydroxymetragonine, or 7-OH, a compound naturally occurring in the Kratom plant.
Yeah, I couldn't get that word.
It's all good. That's what I'm here for.
FDA Commissioner Martin McCary spoke alongside Kennedy while announcing their plans to initiate the process to have 7-OH scheduled as an illicit substance. That will happen if the Drug Enforcement Administration approves the FDA sanction after review. McCary also made clear during that same news conference that the organization's focus on 7-OH, not Kratom overall. McCary also made clear during that same news conference that the organization's focus is on 7-OH, not Kratom overall. Medical experts tell USA Today that all Kratom products carry a risk for addiction, not just ones marketed with 7-OH, though those products are often stronger. Some of the people USA Today spoke with say their addiction was just to products with Kratom, and they never tried ones with the synthetic 7-OH. For others, using products with Kratom became a gateway to using products with synthetic 7-OH. Many products on the market contain Kratom, and they come in many forms. Some are capsules, others are powders, others are drinks. One product recently went viral. On July 25th, a TikToker posted a video in which he described how a teenage boy tried stealing his wallet outside of a gas station after he refused to go inside and buy the boy a feel-free tonic. A representative for Botanic Tonics, the company behind Feel Free, told USA Today its Feel Free Classic Tonic contains only natural leaf kratom with nearly undetectable levels of 7-OH. But apparently you have to be 18 to buy it, right?
I mean, it sounds that way.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I've never purchased any beverage like this.
Yeah, me neither.
You know, like from the 5-Hour Energy to the Celsius, or, you know, I've never purchased an energy drink because there's quite a lot of stuff in them that is just not good for you.
Not good for
to
you.
the point of being dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing to get a little bit of a caffeine boost, like, okay, fine. But there's also, you know, taurine and guarana that in even slightly doses that are even slightly too large can be really dangerous if you have any issues with heart rate or anything like that. So I've never touched them, but
I haven't either.
I've never seen a label in a store that says you must be over 18 to buy them.
Yeah, I have a feeling this kid was trying to get somebody else to buy it, so they must.
So I don't know. Maybe this is different. Maybe these are specifically labeled as 18 and over. I'm not sure.
And it could be a state-by-state thing. Earlier this year, Botanic Tonic settled a $8.75 million class action lawsuit filed in March 2023 that accused the company of falsely marketing its Kratom tonic as a healthy alternative to alcohol. In January 2024, the company announced that it would add a warning label for its feel-free classic tonic, saying that the product can become habit-forming and harmful to your health if consumed irresponsibly. And in May 2024, it announced the addition of a 21 and over restriction to its product.
And there we have it.
There we go. We answered our own question. The Botanic Tonic's representative told USA Today the company takes its 21 and over restriction very seriously and has reached out to this TikToker for further details. Company CEO Cameron Korobandi has also released a statement applauding the FDA for going after 7-OH. We've been advocating for exactly this type of regulatory approach, one that protects consumers from synthetic derivatives while preserving access to traditional botanical ingredients with centuries of safe use, Korobandi said. Yeah, okay. It doesn't sound like there's centuries of safe use of this product.
No, it doesn't sound like it.
Many people who descended into Kratom addiction said gas station products sucked them in. The Quitting Kratom subreddit had 52,000 members and several posts a day from people documenting their journeys trying to quit Kratom and 7-OH. So anyway, we really just kind of wanted to make you aware of this feel-free tonic thing.
Yes.
And other products that contain kratom, that it can be addictive and can cause some serious health issues.
Yeah. And so just another thing to be on the lookout. And I think this is a good opportunity also to kind of mention that there are a lot of things out there that are marketed as being healthy, all natural, plant-based, organic, et cetera, in supplement form, in beverage form. And it's really important that if you're going to partake in those things, that number one, you do your research and you make sure that the product in question doesn't contain things that could be harmful, addictive, could interact with medications, could cause addiction, those kinds of things. You want to be really careful about that. And then if you do choose to use a product, to make sure that you use it in the recommended dosage. And not to overdo. Yeah, because these products are not regulated. No, they're not.
So, all of the supplements that you see out there in the stores, there's tons. There's like an entire aisle of supplements. None of those supplements have to be tested.
Right.
None of them are regulated. And every bottle will say that, the claims on this have not been proven by any kind of scientific research. So you do need to be really careful with supplements other than just vitamin supplements.
Yes.
So don't be drinking the Kratom.
Nope.
Because it sounds like it can cause you a lot of problems.
Certainly does.
Yeah. You want to move on to our Noteworthy segment?
Yeah, let's do it. All right. So this is coming to us from Ag Daily, and it's coming in under their livestock news section. And stating that many documentaries are targeting animal rights groups over anti-farming agenda. The Center for the Environment and Welfare has released the second installment of a 3-part mini-documentary series examining the activities of several prominent animal charities and their role in shaping agricultural policy debates. The second installment in the series follows the episode Fat Cats and Dead Dogs, which explored how major animal advocacy organizations raise millions in donations while only directing a small portion of those funds to local pet shelters. According to CEW, the new video focuses on how some of the same groups are also pursuing campaigns that affect American animal agriculture. Tax filings show that the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, Humane Worldwide for Animals, formerly the Humane Society of the United States, and People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals collectively raise hundreds of millions of dollars each year. The organization says only a small fraction of those funds are directed to local shelters through grants, with other resources going toward policy advocacy and campaigns against farm production practices. This isn't about animal welfare. It's a war on American farmers, said Jack Hubbard, executive director of CEW. Activists are pushing mandates that intentionally inflate production costs and restrict how farmers operate. Their goal? To put farmers out of business and drive up animal protein prices. The mini-documentary highlights several areas where the group's advocacy intersects with agriculture policy. One example cited in the video is what CEW calls farm conversion, where the ASPCA has supported proposals that would provide government funding for livestock producers who choose to transition from raising animals to producing plant-based crops. The documentary also points to increased use of corporate pressure campaigns by activist organizations. According to CEW, these strategies involve shareholder activism and lobbying directed at restaurants, retailers, and grocery chains to encourage adoption of sourcing standards or menu changes tied to animal welfare concerns. CEW say these efforts can result in higher production costs that may ultimately affect consumer prices. The video explores ideological differences between animal welfare and what it describes as animal liberation, a philosophy that opposes the use of animals in farming, food production, and other human activities. In the documentary, PETA founder Ingrid Newkirk is quoted as saying, "In the end, I think it would be lovely if we stop this whole notion of pets altogether." The video also references criticism surrounding euthanasia rates at PETA's Virginia shelter facility, which has euthanized tens of thousands of animals since the late 1990s. While PETA is often associated with public protests and media campaigns, the documentary suggests that other organizations pursue policy influence through lobbying efforts and regulatory proposals. For example, the ASPCA has supported policy discussions around pausing construction of certain types of livestock operations and has advocated for financial incentives to help farmers transition to plant-based production systems. The video also highlights debates around California's Proposition 12, which established new housing requirements for pork and egg production systems. CEW argues that regulations such as these can increase costs for producers and consumers. The former CEO of the ASPCA, Ed Sayers, is also featured in the documentary discussing the organization's direction. The former CEO of the ASPCA, Ed Sayers, is also featured in the documentary discussing the organization's direction. Those resources could really be used to be helping shelters, almost in the way that we used to do it in 2010 and 2011, to just restart that grants program and give those local shelters some consideration. And I'm disappointed that that hasn't really manifested in the ASPCA today. In recent years, Sayers has become an outspoken critic of the ASPCA. While CEO, he was known for having overseen the creation of the infamous Sarah McLachlan commercial and 1999 monthly gift donation model, ushering in a new era of nonprofit fundraising and radical revenue growth for the organization.
I don't know if you could tell, but Ag Daily is, of course, a
pro-farming.
It is a website for farmers.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I find it interesting that the worst they can say is that these organizations, the animal rights organizations that they're talking about, are advocating for farmers to transition into growing plant-based crops like mushrooms and whatnot.
Well, right. I mean, all they're doing is basically underlying what the organizations are doing, because if you think that, the Humane Society and the ASPCA and PETA and other organizations aren't advocating for both animal welfare and animal liberation, because many have animal liberation as the end goal, but realistically understand that that's not going to happen overnight. And so let's, do what we can to support animal welfare actions on our way to animal liberation. And so, yes, of course, they're going to be aware of and involved in the making of policy. And of course, they're going to be involved in either supporting or decrying, I suppose the word would be, policies that are up for vote or evaluation. Of course they are. So what they're basically doing is saying, well, this is what these nonprofits do. Yes, it's what these nonprofits do.
Yeah.
They're just trying to spin it in a way that makes them sound, inherently evil, and that the heart of their argument is not pro-animal, but anti-farm.
Yeah.
Which is simply just not true.
Not true. There is a 3-part. Part 1 and part 2 are out now to watch on YouTube if you'd like to watch them. They're called Animal Charities Exposed. And we can link to those YouTube videos so you can watch them for yourself, because it's good to keep an eye on what the agricultural community, how they're framing animal advocacy.
Absolutely.
And you can say what they're saying about just about every nonprofit organization, that the monies that they're collecting in donations don't all go directly towards what that organization is fighting for.
Yes.
They can't, because there's administrative costs.
Yeah.
They're paying people for marketing. They're paying for web development.
Right.
Of course, it can't all go to the animals.
No,
It
although
can't.
it's interesting. The university that I work at, they do a fundraising campaign every year, and it's kind of through the United Way. And the United Way will, give you a booklet or send you to a website where you can actually look up how much of every dollar that you give actually goes to the charities, like the work that they're trying to do, and like how much gets skimmed off the top for administrative costs and that kind of thing, which is really very cool. So you can find that information out if you do a little bit of digging.
Yeah, because a part of being a nonprofit is you have to have that transparency.
Yes.
You can't be a nonprofit and not be transparent about where your money's going.
That's correct.
It just takes a little research, and you can find out what every nonprofit, they have to publish their budgets. They have to show you how the money's being used. And of course, all that money cannot go towards, animal liberation.
Right.
Because there's just other things that, they're doing rallies, they're funding meetings, they're funding conventions, that money has to be used in so many different ways.
It does.
To get the word out about their cause.
Right.
So yeah, but we will link to the YouTubes if you want to watch Animal Charities Exposed, and see if it's a little propagandish. That's not a word, is it? Propagandish.
It is now.
But yeah. And I don't know if everything in this article is facts, like the thing about the PETA shelters where they're euthanizing thousands of animals.
I don't know what that is in reference to.
Yeah, I don't
specifically. Either. So again, that would be research is required.
Again, more research.
Yeah,
yes,
generally speaking, more research is required.
Yeah. I can tell you that we volunteer for a Humane Society location.
Yes.
And their money it's not grant money. It's all independently collected through donations and fund drives. We look at every month, there's board meetings, and you can see where the money's coming from, how the money's being spent. There's lots of transparency there. And I can tell you that we haven't received any grant money at our particular Humane Society recently anyway. So it's all coming from donations and fund drives.
Yes.
So fundraising efforts. And they do like a yard sale kind of thing every year, and, various ways they have dinners that we're not always down for, because a lot of times there's animal products being served at those, like they do a barbecue and all that. Anywho.
Yeah. So we've been asked to volunteer at those kinds of events a number of times, and we continue to say, no, we can't be involved in those as long as one type of animal is being killed to benefit another type of animal.
Yeah.
We keep telling them that it'd be really easy to veganize the whole thing in terms of those events.
Yeah, it really would be.
It would be so super easy. Yeah. But they have not listened to that yet.
Yeah, it falls on deaf ears. We get the whole, I understand where you're coming from, but situation. Right. So all we can do is anytime we're asked to volunteer at those events, all we can do is keep telling them how we don't feel that they're that they make any sense.
Right. Not until you stop selling animal products.
Yeah. You can't serve animal products to save animals. It just
wrong.
doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we move on to our main topic?
Let's do it. So in our main topic, the Trump administration is attempting to dismantle the U.S. Forest Service. The goal is to cause constant chaos so you can't follow what's happening day to day. I'm sure that's not news.
Right.
Here's what's going on. The administration just announced a sweeping restructuring, and it's as bad as it sounds. Headquarters is leaving Washington, D.C. for Salt Lake City. All 9 regional offices are closing. More than 50 research facilities across 31 states are being eliminated. The regional system the agency has used since its founding in 1907 is gone. In their place, 15 political state directors, embedded with the same state officials and industry groups that have long pushed for more logging and fewer protections, mirroring the Bureau of Land Management model that public land advocates have fought for decades. That puts 193 million acres, the largest public land system in the nation, bigger than Texas, under a structure designed for political access, not scientific stewardship. Forest Service Chief Tom Schultz framed it as getting closer to the forests.
When I read this, I read an article about this. When they said the reason they were moving the offices to Salt Lake was because they thought the people should be closer to the forests. I'm like, are you really that stupid? Oh, my God.
What it actually does is gut the career scientists and independent oversight that stood between those forests and the people who want to exploit them. Scientists won't relocate en masse. Long-term studies, data sets, and research partnerships built over decades will collapse. Once that expertise walks out the door, it doesn't tend to come back. The Forest Service was built by Theodore Roosevelt and Gifford Pinchot to keep professional, science-based management out of the hands of industry. That vision is being systematically dismantled, not with a bang, but with a press release. 193 million acres, gone from federal protection in all but name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what this is doing is really just opening the door for, like this says, more logging, more drilling, more fracking.
Yes.
Whatever, however they can strip the land
Which equals,
where people can profit off
which
of it.
equals more habitat destruction, which means more environmental chaos, which means more animals displaced, which
more species
more
lost.
species lost.
More, there'll be more mudslides. There'll be more floods.
Yes.
There'll be all kinds. There's all kinds of effects when you remove forests.
Yes.
And, how about less oxygen for us all to breathe?
Yeah.
Less wild places for people to go to get away from the hustle and bustle of city life. It's insidious. You know what? I think I have said insidious more since this administration has come into office than I have in my entire life.
That's probably true.
It's unbelievable. And yes, this is what they want. They want there to be so much chaos that we're just being barraged with bad thing after bad thing after bad thing after bad thing.
That it's impossible to focus on any of it.
Yeah, how do you focus on one thing to stand up for? So the only thing that you can focus on is standing against them. The only easy way is to stand against them and do some action, locally.
As much as possible.
Yeah. We've recently been made aware that there is a proposed data center going in, proposed to go in, just like a mile or two up the road from us. We are right on the Great Lakes.
Yep.
This can't happen.
No.
So this is something that we can get involved in.
Absolutely.
Fighting against the building of this data center. New York State, in particular, Western New York State, we have a ton of data centers in this part of the country. And all of them are terrible. They're using up our resources. They're using up our water, our land. They're spewing pollutants and causing noise pollution and water pollution. And for what? So you can, so that Google can answer your questions quicker. It's insane.
It is
the only reason to be building data centers all over our country is for surveillance. There's no other reason why they want AI does not have to be in everything that we use. It does not. And how are
I'd
they
be happy not to have it in anything.
Right. And how are the people that are building these data centers profiting from this? That's the question you have to ask yourself. One of the ways I'm sure they'll be profiting is through government contracts.
Oh, of course.
Like the Palantir situation.
Sure.
And a lot of that is for surveillance and face recognition and stuff like that. So we don't want these data centers. So if you have a data center going up near you, do all you can to fight it. It's all we can do.
It is.
Yeah. Heavy sigh.
Sorry, Pooks.
Heavy sigh.
I'm sorry that, the world is stuck in the proverbial handbasket.
I know. It's like the world is a giant dumpster fire right now,
Pretty much.
Between wars and everything else that's going on, it's overwhelming.
It is.
We're all overwhelmed. So we have to take care of each other.
Yeah, we do.
And ourselves.
Indeed.
With that, it's time for our favorite portion of the show.
Must be listener shout out time.
It's listener shout out.
Just want to give a shout out to all my fans watching. I love you guys. I love you.
This week's shout out goes to Betsy Doucette. Betsy sent us a very sweet text to let us know that she has learned a lot by listening to the show. Thanks so much for listening, Betsy.
Yeah, thank you. And please send us your t-shirt size and address so that we can send you a Compassion and Cucumbers swag bag. You can do that by texting us using the link in our show notes. You can email us at compassionandcucumbers@gmail.com or DM us on Instagram or Facebook.
And for the rest of you out there, if you would like a listener shout out, just contact using all of those methods that Christine just talked about. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you think of the show. We love to shout you out and send you some swag. You can also always nominate someone else for a shout out.
You can. I guess it's time to wrap this baby up. Before we go, first of all, I would like to thank everyone who has subscribed to the show and left us a review, and everyone that has subscribed to our YouTube. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Also, if you've followed us on Facebook and Instagram, thank you. If you haven't, be sure to follow us. You can get updates about the show and pictures of the vegan food we find and a bunch of other stuff. And if you want to get news about the show, you can do that by subscribing to our weekly newsletter at our website, which is compassionandcucumbers.com.
And with that, it's time to sign off. You have just listened to episode 220 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast, and there's nothing left to say but where cukes and compassion are always the fashion on the podcast.
Thanks, James.
Have a great week, everyone.
We'll talk to you next Tuesday.
We love you.
Take care of each other.
Bye.
Bye.
The end.
Containing 7-hydroxymetigranine, 7-hydroxymetigranine, 7-hydroxymetigranine. If you'd like to support the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast, well, you can do that by hopping on over to our Patreon page and becoming a patron. We have all the recipes from our vegan kitchen series up there, and we'll be adding some patron-only episodes in the near future. So thank you for supporting us at whatever level that you choose, and thank you again for listening to Compassion and Cucumbers podcast.